Hello everyone, welcome to the new UPSC Civil Service previous year question analysis session of the 2023's Prelims question paper. This is the third episode of the series. We hope you have watched the first two episodes. So let's have a look into the question numbers from 21 to 30. So let's look into the 21st question. Okay. Consider the following statements. Statement 1, the interest income, okay, it is an income from the deposits. Okay, that means you are depositing something, okay, and you are getting an income from it. And now what you are depositing in? So the interest income from the deposits in infrastructure investment trust distributed to their investors is exempted from tax. That is, they are saying the income that you get from the deposits you have made into a trust. Maybe you know what is InvIT, or even if you don't know what is InvIT, no problem. Okay, we'll see how to approach this. So, is exempted from tax. That's what they're saying. They're saying some kind of income that you're getting is exempted. Okay, exempted from tax, but the dividend is taxable. Okay, the dividend, I mean the distributed money from the trust to the investors is taxable. They are saying this. So if you have analyzed several UPSC previous year questions, you would see this kind of a statement, that is, something is true but something else is true. That is, there is a statement A but statement B. See, there are people who have come up with this analysis saying such kind of statements mostly will be wrong. If you analyze all the such kind of questions which have come up in the PYQs, mostly they tend to be wrong. That is one logic you can apply over here. But again, see the income. See, in India the income is taxed. Okay, logically this is also wrong. So the first statement is wrong. Second statement, InvIT are recognized as borrowers. Okay, these trusts are recognized as borrowers under the Securitization and Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement of Security Act. So this act is our basically SARFAESI Act. Okay, SARFAESI Act. Okay, so basically what is this investment infrastructure trust? Okay, let's say you have some money. Okay, you want to get returns from it. So what you can do is you put this money into either some infrastructure investment trust or real estate investment trust. So you're parking money to either of this. So these trust will asset these pooled money. Like you, there may be many other people who are giving money to these bodies. So they will take all these pooled money and invest in several infra projects. Okay, infra projects. So by investing this, this money into some infrastructure projects, they will get some returns, right? And that return will be given back to the investor like us. So InvITs invest in infra projects, real estate infrastructure trust, investment trust invest in real estate projects. Okay, so basically they borrow money from us, right? That is the logic. So this is correct. Okay, so you can also later check what is the definition of the borrowers in the SARFAESI Act. Okay, so here the answer will be statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. Option D is the answer for this question. Now let's look into the 22nd question. Okay, consider the following statement. Statement 1, in the post-pandemic recent past, many central banks like our RBI, okay, worldwide had carried out interest rate hikes. Okay, interest rate hike. That means they are increasing the interest of the economy. That means when do we increase the interest rate? When there is inflation, when the price of things, consumer durables, items are increasing. What can government do? What can central banks do? They can increase the interest rate as a part of their monetary policy, right? Through repo operations, reverse repo operations, etc. So this is true, right? During Corona times, post-pandemic times, the price of items have increased gradually, right? I mean, tremendously. Okay, so in order to control that, Reserve Bank of India and other many central banks, what they did, they increased the interest rate so that what? The money supply in the economy is reduced. So increasing interest rate reduces money supply. Reducing interest rate increases money supply. That is a basic economic concept. So first statement is correct. So second statement, central banks generally assume that they have the ability to counteract the rising consumer prices via monetary policy measures. Yes, as I told you, this is a monetary policy measure. So both is correct. This is the explanation for the first statement. So option A will be correct. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation for statement 1. So you should also read about the future. You can expect questions about other monetary policy measures. What are the measures within India? What are the monetary policy stance, like accommodative policy stance, calibrated tightening, neutral, etc. So all these kind of questions could be asked. Let's move on to the next question. The 23rd question is, let's read it. Consider the following statement. Statement 1. Carbon markets are likely to be one of the most widespread tools in the fight against climate change. Yes, we know that, right? After the global warming has come up, I mean, when the global warming was rising, now throughout the world, the governments wanted the private companies, these industries, corporations, they're releasing too much of carbon dioxide emissions. They are having great ecological footprint, right? So in order to reduce that, what this mechanism has come up, which is known as carbon market. Okay, so let's say 1 billion ton is the maximum. This is like an example. 1 billion ton of carbon dioxide is what you can emit. Okay, this is your maximum limit. But let's say this year you only emitted 0.5 billion ton. That is like the half of the emission. So rest 0.5 is like the credit that you have. You have saved 500,000 tons of carbon dioxide. Now, what you can do is you can sell these credits to another company which have emitted more than 1 ton. Let's say another company have emitted 1.5 ton, okay? But their limit was only 1 ton, right? So they can purchase this 0.5 ton certificate from this company, which have not emitted that much. So this is like a trading mechanism, in order to fight the climate change. So first statement is correct. Second statement, carbon markets transfer resources from the private sector to the state. So this statement is a disputed one, okay? There are many people who says yes, this is correct. And there are many, people who are saying this statement is wrong, okay? Rather, there is no real transfer of resources to the state, but it's within these players. So we'll have to wait for the official UPSC key for it. But we are going with the option C over here, which is there is no actual transfer of resources to the states from the market. Okay, so our answer is C in this question, but we will have to wait for the official UPSC key. Let's move on to the next question. Now let's read the 24th question. Which of the following activities of the RBI is considered to be part of sterilization? Sterilization is, if you have read about, sterilizing is to inactivate, right? Sterilizing any needle, sterilizing any object, right? So what is this RBI sterilizing normally? So if you know the concept, let's say there is an international, financial crisis, okay, which we had in the past, like the Asian financial crisis. So this may induce many things, like the capital flight. People who have invested in India may withdraw all the dollar, right? So there will be a capital flight happening, which is like the withdrawal of the forex reserves from the country. Okay, the India might be losing dollars, but if so much dollar is outgoing, what will happen to Indian rupee? There will be a great depreciation, right? So in order to control such sudden, unplanned, unexpected, foreign currency changes with the external, in the international scope, RBI does some kind of activities in order to counteract these, these kind of issues. Okay, so that is what is sterilization. So let's read the option: conducting open market operation, oversight of settlement and payment system, debt and cash management for the central and state government, regulating the functions of NBFC. See, if you see this thing, the options, this is the most logically correct one. That is open market operations. So if there is a rupee deficit, okay, what will RBI do is, RBI will buy government bonds or securities from the market. Okay, buying the bonds releases rupee into the economy, which will counteract that. Initially there was less rupee. Now RBI is releasing rupee by purchase of these securities. So it is a sterilization, right? Now let's say the rupee is overflowing in the market. Okay, now RBI want to reduce it or rather sterilize it. What can RBI do? RBI can sell the government securities. When RBI releases government securities, it intakes the exceeding rupee. So this is how the sterilization mechanism works. So conducting open market operations is the right answer over here. Overnight of settlement and payment system, yes, but it's not sterilization. It is related to the banking activities. Okay, so all these options are wrong. Option A is the correct answer. Now let's look into the next question. Let's read 25th question. Consider the following markets: government bond market, call money market, treasury bill market, stock market. How many of the above are included in capital market? Okay, they're asking capital market and not stock market or stock exchange or something related to stocks. Okay, so capital market. See, let's see these options. Okay, see, government bond market. You know what is the difference between government bond and treasury bill? Government treasury bills are short term, and call money is also short term market, short term instrument. Okay, but the government bonds, they are normally issued in long term. Okay, long term. And if you see the stock market, definitely it is a capital, right? Stocks are capital. So this is a capital. So see, normally this short term high liquidity things, they are in the money market and not in the capital market. That means there are two types of markets. Okay, which is capital and money market. So option 2 and 3 comes in money market, and option 1 and 4 comes in the capital market. So option here, the correct answer is option B, which is only 2 pairs. Let's move on to the next question. Let's read the 26th question. Which of the following best describes the concept of small farmer, large field? Okay, small farmer and large field. Let's read the options. See, in such kind of questions, okay, when they want to pick which suits this particular term, you have to look for statements which are created artificially or which are manipulated. Some statements, if you read, you feel like this statement is being created for the sake of an option. Okay, that's one thing you have to watch for. Anyway, let's look at it. The first statement is resettlement of a large number of people uprooted from their countries due to war by giving them a large cultivable land which they cultivate collectively and share the produce. We have not heard of anything like that, correct? So this is wrong. Okay, many marginal farmers, okay, they are not large farmers but marginal farmers in an area, organize themselves into groups and synchronize and harmonize selected agricultural operations. There is no extremity in the second statement. Okay, but if you see the first statement, see, you are giving them, cultivating collectively, they are giving, after a war, you are particularly giving to a large group of people a land. So this seems a little extreme to me. Second statement seems to be possible. Okay, third statement, many marginal farmers in an area together make a contract with a corporate body, okay, and surrender their land, extreme, their land to the corporate body. See, surrender is an extreme word for me, especially related to farmers. Okay, to the corporate body for a fixed term for which the corporate body makes a payment of agreed amount to the farmer. See, this is a long cooked up statement. This is wrong. A company extends loan, technical knowledge. So they are giving loans, technical knowledge, material inputs to a number of small farmers in an area so that they produce the agricultural commodity required by the company for its manufacturing process and commercial production. Seems to be cooked, right? So we should go with a more sustainable option, I would call it, or more feasible, what you can see here, right? Like the cooperatives which you are saying. So option B is the right answer for this question. Let's move on to the next question. Let's have a read of the 27th question. Consider the following statements. The government of India provides MSP for Niger seeds. Okay, seeds. Basically, you know that MSP is given for oil seeds. And the oil seeds that we know are mustard, groundnut, right? Niger is cultivated as a kharif crop. So this news was in news. I mean, this particular, oil seed was in news recently. Okay. So what you need to know is Niger is a kharif crop. It's an oil seed. And in fact, it is used by the tribal people in India, okay, for their cooking uses. Okay. Now, the share of, the area that was there for the, production of Niger is been declining. So that's why this was in news. So here, yes, we know that MSP, right? MSP is also for Kharif, Rabi, and the, this includes oil seeds also, right? Like the mustard, groundnut, etc. So Niger, this statement is correct. They are getting MSP. Second statement is also correct. It's a Kharif crop. And third statement is also correct. So the answer is C in this question. All three statements are correct. Let's move on to the next. Let's read 28th. Consider the investment in the following assets: brand recognition, inventory, intellectual property, mailing list of clients. How many of the above are considered intangible investment? So this word intangible, that means you cannot hold it, right? The other place where we have encountered this statement, this word is the UNESCO's intangible cultural heritages, right? Like our, Navruz, Kumbh Mela, Mudietu, right? All these, there are around 13, 14 in UNESCO intangible heritages, which you cannot hold, right? So that's the meaning of intangible. Now, if you look at it, brand recognition, it's not something solid. It exists in papers or it's an invisible item. But inventory, it's a visible item, right? So logically, inventory is wrong. Intellectual property, you cannot see it. It's an invisible item. So this is also logically correct. Mailing list of clients. Yes, it's an asset. I mean, it's an intangible asset. So let's say Tata Group, when the day it was established till now, they have served many customers, many clients, and that list of clients took years to build up. So it's an investment. It's an intangible asset of it. Like its brand itself. So this is also correct. So here only the inventory seems to be a tangible asset, or tangible means which can be moved. Tangible means which can be moved, changed, flexible, etc. So all the other three seems to be intangible. So the answer is only 3. Answer C is the answer. Now let's read the 29th question. Okay, consider the following: demographic performance, forest and ecology, governance reform, stable government, tax and fiscal effect. For the horizontal tax devolution, the 15th Finance Commission used how many of the above as criteria other than population area and income distance? See, this question is asking about, there is this mechanism by which the Finance Commissions make a formula in order to govern how much money should be given to the states from the central government, okay, from the divisible pool of taxes. So there should be a formula to give it, right? So the finance commissions which are set up, right? So they come up with this formula, which is known as the terms of reference, okay? And they have some indicators, okay? And based on the performance of every state in these indicators, the money is given, right? So the 15th Finance Commission brought in some changes. They made some changes which is different from the 14th Finance Commission's terms of reference. So if you see this, demographic performance, forest and ecology, yes, this is correct, okay? Because the demographic performance, if you see the southern states, they performed much better when it comes to the demographic, because they have reduced the total fertility rate, right? The TFR of southern states is much less. In fact, they have reached the replacement level of 2.1, right? States like Kerala, Tamil Nadu have reached almost 2.1, which is the replacement level. So such states should be rewarded more, right? So that's why demographic performance was included. Next is forest and ecology. Yes. Governance reforms, it is wrong because it's not a quantifiable data, right? How can you say which reforms is good, which is not? Correct. And that too, you will have to, give various value for every stage, and that becomes a difficult task. So logically, this is wrong. Stable government, that is also logically wrong, because how can you quantify, how can you say that if Kerala is more stable, you can give more money to Kerala, right? Because it is a illogical statement, right? Next is tax and fiscal effort. Yes, this seems to be correct, and it is correct because the FRBM Act which was introduced, right? Fiscal Responsibility and Budgetary Management Act. So the act says states have a responsibility to reduce the fiscal deficit to 3% of the GDP, right? So by that sense, this should be logically correct. So answer is 1, 2 and the fifth one, which is only 3 pair, and option B is the correct answer in this question. The last question in this episode is 30th. Consider the following infrastructure sectors: affordable housing, mass rapid transport, healthcare, renewable energy. Okay. On how many of the above does UNOPS Sustainable Investment in Infrastructure and Innovation S3I initiative focus for its investment? Okay. Now see this. I'm sure most of the people who attempted this question doesn't know about it. What is this UNOPS and what is this S3A? But UPSC is giving you the answer. See, 3. That means what? Out of this, only 3 will be correct. By that answer, option only 3. This is the answer. This is one of the easiest logical question. You should not panic in such questions because you have to always think. UPSC gives you the answer in the question itself. Okay, so here if you read the options also, see, affordable housing, it is something regarding the SDG goals, right? Mass rapid transport, it's not a sustainable thing, right? Rapid transport, okay, yes, but it's not a sustainable or a smart city. I mean, it's not like a very needed thing, right? But healthcare, renewable energy, housing, this seems to be very much of the pillars of human development, correct? So that is why 1, 3 and 4 is the answer. This is wrong, and that's why option C is the answer. Okay, so I hope you understood whatever we discussed. We will meet in the next episode. Thank you.
Amrita IAS Academy.